The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. One of the seven wonders of the ancient world. A place said to defy gravity, with terraces of lush greenery rising high above the desert sands. But did they really exist? And if they did, who built them, and why? Most of what we know about the Hanging Gardens comes from ancient historians like Strabo and Philo of Byzantium. They described a towering structure, possibly more than 70 feet high, with vines and trees cascading down multiple terraces. Water flowed through an elaborate system of pumps and aqueducts, keeping the gardens alive in the heart of one of the driest cities in history. Traditionally, the gardens are said to have been built by King Nebuchadnezzar II around 600 BC. According to legend, he constructed them to please his wife, Amytis of Media. She reportedly missed the green hills and forests of her homeland, so Nebuchadnezzar recreated them in the middle of Babylon. The descriptions are vivid. Imagine palm trees, fruit trees, and flowering vines on terraces stacked like giant steps. Water channels ran through the gardens, fed by pumps that lifted water from the Euphrates River. The engineering would have been revolutionary for its time. Even by today's standards, maintaining such a structure in the desert would be a monumental challenge. But here's the mystery: no definitive archaeological evidence of the gardens has ever been found in Babylon. Despite centuries of excavations, historians have found no traces of the massive terraces described in ancient texts. Some scholars even question whether the gardens ever existed in Babylon at all. Could the Hanging Gardens be a myth, a story passed down and exaggerated over generations? Some researchers suggest the gardens may have been located not in Babylon, but in Nineveh, the capital of Assyria. In the mid-19th century, excavations at Nineveh uncovered ruins that resemble the descriptions of the Hanging Gardens, including an advanced irrigation system capable of lifting water. This theory proposes that ancient writers may have confused the two cities or attributed the Assyrian gardens to Babylon, which was more famous and symbolic in history. If the Hanging Gardens of Babylon did exist, their construction would have been an engineering marvel. Ancient texts describe an Archimedes-style screw or chain pumps used to transport water to the top terraces. Water would have flowed down naturally through channels, feeding trees, flowers, and vines, creating a lush, green oasis in the midst of a harsh desert climate. And the scale of the gardens is staggering. Estimates suggest the terraces could have covered more than an acre, with multiple levels stacked on top of each other, supported by massive stone or brick pillars. Some accounts even suggest exotic plants imported from distant lands, bringing the entire known world into one monumental structure. The purpose of the gardens, if real, may have gone beyond pleasing a queen. They could have symbolized power, wealth, and the ability of humans to manipulate nature. In a world ruled by kings and empires, constructing something so grand and seemingly impossible would have been a statement. Babylon was the center of civilization, capable of bending even the desert to its will. Over time, however, the gardens vanished. They could have been destroyed by earthquakes, floods, or simple neglect. Babylon itself fell into ruin, conquered by successive empires, and much of the city was buried beneath sand and silt for centuries. With no surviving records, the gardens faded from memory, surviving only in the writings of Greek and Roman historians. Some evidence supports the legend, though indirectly. Archaeologists have uncovered canals, aqueducts, and remains of terraces in Babylon that suggest advanced irrigation systems existed. While these findings don't confirm the gardens themselves, they indicate that Babylonian engineers were capable of impressive feats of hydraulic engineering. The Hanging Gardens continue to capture imaginations today. They symbolize human ambition, the desire to recreate nature in artifice, and the timeless fascination with beauty that defies reality. Artists and writers have depicted them for centuries, imagining verdant terraces in a golden desert, water flowing endlessly, and exotic plants cascading down stone walls. Even if the gardens never existed in Babylon, their legend influenced generations. They appear in medieval manuscripts, Renaissance paintings, and modern films. The story of a king building paradise to please his queen resonates across cultures, a reminder of the enduring power of myths in shaping history. The truth may never be fully known. Perhaps the gardens were real and lost to time. Perhaps they were a tale inspired by another city or another king. But the Hanging Gardens of Babylon remain one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, a wonder of imagination, ambition, and human creativity. So the next time you imagine lush terraces rising above the desert, remember, the Hanging Gardens may have existed, may not have, but their story continues to grow, much like the vines that once supposedly covered them. The wonder lies not only in what may have stood in Babylon, but in the human desire to reach for the impossible, to create beauty in the face of harsh reality, and to leave behind a story that lasts millennia.